everyone, this is Daughter Darkness, and today I'm going to be giving a kind of information video concerning one of the most complex characters, I think, in the history of fiction. This, of course, being Xehanort. Now, I've seen quite a few people where they kind of don't understand a certain part of Xehanort, or whatever. They don't understand how something's worked, or how Xehanort's got to be where he is now. So I thought I'd do this video where I basically go over Xehanort as a person. So I'll talk about all the different versions of Xehanort, and how they came into being, and how they were defeated, possibly what they did while they were alive, and yeah, just kind of going over Xehanort's story as far as the Kingdom Hearts universe knows so far, because obviously there are gaps. We don't know everything that Xehanort's ever done in his whole life. We'll probably find out more in Kingdom Hearts 3, as well, of course, the fact that Xehanort's story is not yet over. But anyway, for now, let's just get started. So we start off with young Xehanort. Xehanort is a teenager, I suppose, living on the Destiny Islands and wanting to leave and travel across different worlds. Eventually he becomes an apprentice to a so far unknown Keyblade master, and he gets his own Keyblade and trains alongside Ericus. Now both of them eventually become Keyblade masters, and Xehanort, as he is starting to age, he takes on a pupil, Ventus. However, there is a point where he uses Ventus almost as a guinea pig rather than an apprentice. In doing this, he extracts the darkness from Ventus's heart and creates Vanitas. And then he gives up his position as master and gives Ventus to Ericus as a student, and begins life as a seeker. So what did this entail? Well, he basically kind of travelled across the worlds looking for Kingdom Hearts, which is what he's doing in Birth by Sleep. However, he realises that he is not a young man anymore. He is getting old. So even if he were to find Kingdom Hearts and recreate the Keyblade War of Legend, which is his aim really, he wouldn't be able to see what lies beyond it, which is kind of the whole point of his experimenting. So he thought of a few different ways to keep himself alive, even beyond the death of his body, I suppose. So he gave small fragments of his heart to other people. Two of those we know, one of them we know and the other is very likely. The one we know is Braig. Braig is a mercenary from Radiant Garden who works with Xehanort, and Xehanort gives him a piece of his heart, and the other likely possibility is Vanitas, who again kind of acted as Xehanort's apprentice, I suppose, during Birth by Sleep, and was also part of Xehanort's plan to forge the Keyblade. However, he also had his main plan. His main plan involved finding a vessel, someone who he could take over the body of, someone much younger, so that it gave him a lot more time to live. And he needed someone who had sufficient darkness to sustain his own heart, which itself was full of darkness, because Xehanort is quite a dark person. And eventually he chose one of Master Ericus's pupils, Terra, and he kind of managed to get the darkness within Terra to a point where he could take over his body. So at the end of Birth by Sleep, Master Xehanort relinquishes his heart from his body, and his heart takes over Terra's body, creating Terra Xehanort, or Terranort as he's well known. However, Terra Xehanort is knocked out in a fight with Terra's will, which had taken up control, I suppose, of his Keyblade armor, the Lingering Will. And at this point he ends up being sent to Radiant Garden, where he is pursued by Aqua. And in their fight, Terra, a part of him, manages to resist and tries to take control of his body back. And in doing so, he creates a dark portal which Terra Xehanort falls into. However, Aqua, having seen that there is still a part of Terra alive, sacrificed herself to push Terra Xehanort out of the hole, I suppose, and she fell into the realm of darkness instead of him. So he wakes up on the floor of a courtyard in Radiant Garden, and he's found by Ansem the Wise. Ansem the Wise, who has 5 different apprentices, one of which is Braig, who of course had a part of Xehanort's heart inside him already. But at this point, Ansem the Wise takes Xehanort on as another apprentice. So this creates what we know as Apprentice Xehanort. Now, Apprentice Xehanort, along with Ansem, was searching and experimenting into the Heartless and the Heart. However, Xehanort went above and beyond anything that Ansem the Wise was willing to do. So in the end, Xehanort effectively took over and cast his master into the realm of darkness, as well as taking on his research and his identity, calling himself Ansem. However, at this point it seems clear that although initially it appeared that his memories had gone, it's now obvious that Xehanort does remember his time as Master Xehanort, and he tries to fulfill his task of completing Kingdom Hearts once again. And to do this, he realizes that he needs to split himself into two, so he allows his heart to be overtaken by dark and becomes a Heartless and a Nobody. The Heartless, who we'll go into first, is Ansem, or he is the one that from the first Kingdom Hearts game we know as Ansem, Ansem the Seeker of Darkness. He effectively was a floating heart. He managed to get a robe around him and kind of have something resembling a human form, but he, like Master Xehanort before him, decided that he needed to take control of a young body so that he could fulfill his task. His task was to gather 7 pure lights, and he used someone else with ambitions similar to his own, which is of course Maleficent, and he used her to gather together the 7 princesses of heart, the only 7 people with no darkness in their hearts in the Kingdom Hearts universe, and she gathered them together while he searched for a new vessel. And like the way that Master Xehanort had found Terra, Ansem found Riku and managed to get the darkness in Riku to a point where Riku was at his lowest point and his darkest point when he had just lost the Keyblade to Sora. Ansem used this moment to take control of Riku's body, and he became Riku Ansem. And when Riku Ansem was defeated by Sora, and Sora released Kairi's heart, so the Heart of Worlds was able to come into existence, Ansem decided to take control of Riku's body a step further, and he changed Riku's body to look like Master Xehanort's body from an earlier stage in his life. So at this point Ansem has a body, and Riku is sent into the realm of darkness. However, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, he summons Kingdom Hearts effectively, which he believes to be ultimate darkness. However, it turns out to be light instead, or at least this version of Kingdom Hearts is light. So Ansem is effectively destroyed, but part of him goes to Riku, along with Riku's returning body. So in Castle Oblivion, he and Riku effectively fight for control of Riku's body, which Riku wins. However, Riku, in order to save Sora, gives into the darkness and becomes Ansem. Although he keeps his own mind, his body is Ansem. However, before we continue with him, we must go to the other part. When Terra Xehanort split himself into 2, he became a Heartless and also left behind a Nobody. Now this Nobody formed Organization 13, where he gathered together 12 other Nobodies, and they could become pure darkness, all becoming vessels of Xehanort. And he gave them all names, which were simply their original names scrambled together with the recusant sigil, the X added on. For example, he, who had taken on the name of Ansem at that point, became Xemnas. And in this organization there was also Braig, or Xigbar as he now was, who already had a part of Xehanort's heart inside him. The idea was to collect Kingdom Hearts together, using the hearts that they took from Heartless, using Roxas's Keyblade and then Sora's. But unfortunately, as time went, all of Organization 13 was destroyed, except for Roxas, who went back to Sora, leaving only Xemnas left. And at this point, Riku, in the form of Ansem, went to the world that never was, and was caught up in the blast of Ansem the Wise's machine, which was trying to turn Kingdom Hearts into data, and this destroyed Ansem, or what remained of Ansem, inside Riku, and Riku became himself again. And then later on, Xemnas was also defeated and destroyed. However, at the end of Recoded, we learn that when a heartless and a nobody are destroyed, the original person returns, which of course meant that Master Xehanort was returning. But it wasn't just going to be Master Xehanort. He had some steps that he'd already taken in place for his own return to make it special, which revolved around Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, once again. He, using his position as someone with no body, was able to go back in time through Xehanort's past to a point where young Xehanort was, where he was still on Destiny Islands. And he told young Xehanort about everything that was happening and about the plan and all that kind of stuff, and he gave him a Keyblade as well as the ability to travel through time. So young Xehanort's job was to gather together all of the different versions of Xehanort from throughout time, and he was able to gather up 10 of them, with the attempt to make 13 vessels of Xehanort's heart. So the 10, which included Ansem and Xemnas, as well as Xigbar, and more. And then there was himself, young Xehanort, taking up a position, and then Master Xehanort, of course. And then they needed a 13th vessel, and they attempted to take Sora as a vessel of Xehanort's heart, but he was saved by Lee. However, that means that at this point, Xehanort is back as a human. Master Xehanort has returned, Old Man Master Xehanort. And there are also 11 other vessels of Xehanort around, which are the known ones, young Xehanort, Ansem, Xemnas, Xigbar, as well as XIII, who was another member of the original Organization 13. So this is the position we are in now, with 12 Xehanorts, and they're going to try to get a 13th Dark Vessel of Xehanort's heart in Kingdom Hearts 3. And whatever happens then happens, and we don't know what that's going to be. So yeah, that's just my kind of quick overview of Xehanort and Xehanort's life in the Kingdom Hearts series so far. So of course we go from Xehanort, Master Xehanort, who then takes over Terra's body, becomes Terra Xehanort, splits himself into a Heartless and a Nobody, who are then defeated, and now Master Xehanort has returned. Yeah, I understand that it can be confusing, but hopefully I've been able to kind of shed light on something if you were unsure about it. If you're still unsure about something, or you just want to make any general remarks about this video, then please feel free to do so in the comment section below. And while you're doing that, if you like this video, then please show that by pressing that like button. Also, check out my other videos and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.